Hello, welcome to today's very strange, extra special episode of Chance Die. What's happening today?
Actually, today we are going to be doing an interview with a storyteller where... What? You didn't know? You better call!
Your ass better call somebody!
We're going to be doing interview with the storyteller. So you have me and our River or Jordan as well who is joining us, and anyone else who may or may not decide to join in on Discord / if you're in the chat, you're also welcome to send questions yourself as well. Did you want to say anything else before we pick your brain?
Only thing I wanted to say is I know that for those of you who followed us along for a little while, this is our debut year, so it's a little rocky. The idea was to have a end of the month game that was different from the one you see every week. So Promethean, every Sunday for about 3 weeks, and then on the fourth week we would do a little something different where one of our players, at this point it's Jack, would get to run something. But one of our players in that is currently experiencing a wonderful festival that he absolutely deserves and should be having a beautiful time in. But because of it, we can't run that game, so it's all good. We're here instead to drill me with questions about, I imagine, what brought about the Sanguine Universe and stuff like that. What brought about why we chose Promethean and things of that nature, I guess. So that's all I wanted to say. I'm James Golden. I'm usually the storyteller for Chance Die. James Chaos to my friends, and yeah, today I guess I'm in the hot seat.
My pen got caught in my hair. Sorry. Well.
So mysterious you were.
What?
Your
Mysterious.
hair. It was like all over your.
Alright, well, I'm just awkward in general, but
Let's go.
Yeah, so I am Jordan, and I usually play my River. I would say that as a little to know me, I am quite different than what you see as River. It's probably the polar opposite of like who I actually am as a person, so sometimes I'm a little quiet because it's hard to actually get into that character, just because it's like so different from who I am. I don't think we streamed any of our last stuff, but CC was a little bit closer to who I actually was in our Beast game, but
We should tell them a little bit about that. Beast is like, they don't know about it.
Right, so we had a game Beast, and that was truly a fun game to play. You're just this inner beast inside that like just kind of took over sometimes. I was basically a giant frost giant, which was pretty cool to be, but CC was a loud, strong, theatrical son of a gun, which is definitely more of like who I am as a person. I tend to go for like characters that have just like really big strength. I like to pretend that I'm the Hulk. I think it's because I'm not that strong as a real human Jordan, so I like to pretend like I'm just like super strong in game. So it's been a challenge to play like a little bit of a quiet, reserved, fly on the wall asshole of a character, in which River is, even though I love her very much.
There's nothing stopping you from getting as strong as you want, though. You really can.
I am starting to go towards the strength.
Yeah.
That's just what I know, But
It's
it
fun.
is fun. So I think my first question of like, it's hard for me to like play a character sometimes that is like not who I am as a person. Like it's hard to kind of channel that sometimes. So like, what's the hardest part of being a storyteller? Like, what's the hardest part of being in the hot seat 24/7 of like, you know what I mean? Like there's so many challenges, obviously. What would you say is like the hardest part being the storyteller and kind of running that game and, being in the hot spot all the time?
My initial thought is responding to two of my players who tend to make being a storyteller very difficult, and they're neither of her here. It's Alfonso.
You're not talking about us?
No, you're wonderful. Both of you are wonderful. It's Alfonso and Jack make being a storyteller super difficult because you think that a game is going to end, and then Alfonso starts talking to the moon with full intent to make a conversation, and you're like, oh shit, this is the one place where that could work too. So with Jack, it was I would say there was an instance where when I was really young, I might have been 20 flat, right? Alfonso was around that age, Jack was around that age, and we had played this game where we were playing the most evil characters imaginable, and all we had to do was jump out of this plane and land in this military base and transform into our most evil selves and get destructive. I was a player in this one alongside Jack, and Alfonso was a player, but this was the first time I really learned something about my beautiful brother, and that's you can set the scene, you can throw him out of the plane, you can put the parachute on his back. You can't make him pull the parachute.
No.
And
you also can't make him stay on the boat.
Yeah, you can't make him stay on the boat. So I would say the hardest thing about being a storyteller is you have to be really responsive to what your players do and responsive to curveballs, because they're going to throw them. Aside from that, it's playing characters you're not comfortable with. So like archetypes maybe you didn't grow up with, or people that could be, me being just perceptively a white male and be like, oh, he's playing a gay dude, or he's playing a black dude, or he's playing someone of Latino or ethnic origin or something. That could be a little trippy. For me, I don't think so. I grew up in a household alongside a lot of Los Angeles orphans. So for me, it's just fun cultures and fun little tidbits to toss into. I never worry about playing women or kids. I think are especially fun to play because they say innocent / really ominous shit. That's probably some of my favorite thing. Old people are, no offense to my beautiful senior citizen fans, but your mannerisms are delightful to also drop. Like one of my favorite things was in Beast. There was, I think it was the second episode, someone was investigating something, and they were like, I want to see the neighbors to the left and right. Oh, it was Moses, but not Moses. It was Alfonso as Devin Freeman, and he wanted to see the neighbors to the left and right of this establishment he was researching. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this, old, blind, black lady with her, dog on the porch kind of thing. Maybe a little creepy, maybe a little homesteady, and it was just things like that. I love them. As for things that are difficult being the storyteller, it's really just sometimes you have to tread carefully. If you know somebody is afraid of something, if you know somebody's gone through something, you have to be aware of what your players have done in their lives, so that way you're not accidentally recreating trauma, I think is a big one.
Yeah. Especially in game where it's all darkness, you don't have an accidental trigger.
Yeah. You may notice there has never been a giant spider in our games, and that's.
I love that.
Yeah, you're not the only one who's come to me and said, "Please don't do it," and I just don't do it. So I've managed to work around it with rats and snakes and other scurries, but never giant spiders.
We had a D&D game where there was a bunch of spiders, and I hated that. That time in that game.
Oh my god. I loved running those D&D games before we got to Chance Die. It was so much fun.
Yeah, me too. We had some fun ones in there.
Real quick. The other hardest thing that's difficult about being a storyteller for Chance Die is, for years upon years upon years, it was one table and all of us around it. And now everyone's moved away. We've managed to keep roughly the same team. 15 years of storytelling with Alfonso, with Jack, with Megan, with AK, and now you're
Jordan.
jumping into that with 5 years now? 4 years?
We started playing D&D in 20. I think it was 20. Yeah, it was 2020. Because that was when the world shut down, and we were like, okay, so we're just gonna hang out in a home together.
Yeah.
In a home together. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's the other hard
5
part.
years, but I guess only 2 years. This will be my second year in World of Darkness, but then playing the fantasy role playing type games, with you and AK at least for 5 years, and then Alfonso, at least I got to meet him a little bit in different settings, which was nice. And,
oh my god, you got to see him. Yeah.
Still to this day, it's my favorite scene, and you know that it is.
I know that it. I tell that to him all the time too. By the way.
I'll never
So for context on that, before we were running Chance Die, and I've been running World of Darkness games forever, but I've also been playing just generally TTRPGs since I was like 18. And so when I moved away to Colorado, I'm from California originally, along with my goddess here, we met Jordan. And I had been running these games called Titans of Teoclitia and what was the Legends of Eos. And this was all set on one global continent, where it was like each continent got a set of like legendary Avengers like heroes. And so there was like the Titans of Teoclitia and the continent of Teoclitia, the Legends of Eos on the continent of Eos. And so like each big continent got like a big group that represented them, which was just like D&D games, right? But minus so much of the things that I used to like dislike about D&D. I was very generous as a DM, but very punishing with my character creation. So I would like give, and then they'd be level 3 and like, why does this thing have 3 legendary actions? I'm like, because it does. You know, like, you have a dragon. Don't argue. But in this case, what she's referencing, Alfonso was visiting, and we had been running this D&D game. I think it was Legends of Eos at the time, for a long time, and they were closing in on the capital city with the intent to kill Zero Mana Strife and Blackout. That had these are villains that had sort of usurped control of their entire country, and they're trying to get their country back, defeat the evil king and his sorcerer, and save the kingdom. And all of a sudden, an NPC, what would be considered an NPC to them, was Alfonso's character plane shifted in on a mission from Ravnica to retrieve an artifact that was stolen from them and stored away in this basilica. So all of a sudden, this character is paired with this group to accomplish this goal. So they're storming a citadel, they're killing people together, and the entire game, Alfonso's character had been like sharpening a carrot. And it was the most like he wasn't eating it.
The whole time, and he like kept making this comment of like, yeah, I'm just whittling my carrot, and I kept being like, what is happening? What is this guy doing? Unreal.
And so
we're in the final boss.
And combat ensued, right? We're in the final boss. Combat ensued. He gets disarmed. He's out of weapons. So he pulls out this carrot that he's been sharpening all game to the point where it's basically a knife. And he does his like complete sneak attack damage, rolls a nat 20, and eviscerates somebody with a carrot.
Literally killed him with carrot.
Yeah. And it was like, it was Jordan's first introduction to like, this is my best friend. I love playing games with him. And she's like, I can fucking see why.
I know, literally, I'm like at the table and I'm like, fuck yeah!
Fuck yeah! Oh my god. When I was in person, when I used to draw maps for fucking hours and paint minis for hours.
So fun. But yeah, and then I met him at the wedding, and I'm like, you son of a gun with your carrot. And I'll just never forget. Every time I'm like, Alfonso, he's going to pull some crazy thing out of his butt. He's going to do it. He's going to be cool while he does it, and he's going to be very well-spoken while he does it, and it just makes it chef's kiss.
Okay, I guess I'll chime in. Okay, so going from... Well, we're all here to play WOD, World of Darkness. However, you do also love your D&D games and running those. What differences do you think really like your mindset is in the differences in like crafting the stories for D&D versus WOD?
Oh, for sure. There's a huge difference. With D&D, I would say the main thing is the party can rely on themselves, and they're very good at setting party dynamics, such as like there's a healer, there's a wizard, there's a tank. There are all these archetypes that allow the party to play well together. In in World of Darkness, you are people. And once you've become your sort of sanguine archetype, your supernatural archetype, whether that's mage, vampire, sin eater, changeling, werewolf, demon, beast, or Promethean. Jeez, I had to run through the list there. No matter what that list is, you are still you. You're not obligated to form a party. In the world of Dungeons and Dragons, party culture is a culture. They form taverns. There are listings for like help, we formed a settlement, but bandits are raiding us. There is almost always a need for heroes. In the World of Darkness, and especially in the Sanguine Universe, the world as we know it can be pretty cruel and pretty unforgiving, and everybody has this feeling of like isolation. When you form a game of D&D, there's this expectation of like everybody at the table will eventually become a party. When you form a game of World of Darkness, there's almost this idea of who's going to fight who? Will we mesh? Will we get along? Will this work well together? Is somebody going to die? Is player versus player going to come into play? Because it has in the past, for sure.
Wait. Oh, River's on. Okay, I was like, wait, are we muted? Sorry.
Are we muted?
No, River is.
I'm here.
Okay, I see.
Just kidding.
I'm sorry. I muted myself because I was cutting something and I felt like it was loud, so I do apologize.
No, you're good. I saw the mute and I thought it was ours, and I was like, no, this is good stuff. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's all good. In preparation, I think one of the things that makes it different is, I kind of touched on this a second ago. When I was running Legends of Eos and Titans of Teocallia, me and my 3D printer were glued. I was downloading files, I was painting, I was making maps, and you were living for the weekend when everybody would come over and see your hard work. And you could still do that. There's Roll20, there's lots of apps that allow you to sort of work that. But in WoD, the idea is completely different. You play in what's called the mind's eye theater. You play in such a way that you and everybody around you is painting a picture and elevating the game together. It's not. There have been times in D&D where like the party will look at you as a unit and say, "What's next?" But in WoD, what's next is different for every player. Sometimes what's next is something you've been sitting on for a long time, and this is finally the scene to unleash it. What's next might be a derangement roll, which often doesn't come into play. Despite the horrors they show in D&D, you almost never roleplay with like mental derangements. But losing yourself, pretending to be a human so much that you actually become a human, and sort of getting sick the longer you do it, like these are the things that WoD games are built upon. There's a darkness to it that's natural, that I fell in love with the moment I saw those books. And for me, knowing the type of players that knowing my friend group, I fell in love with like, man, I would love to see so-and-so work with this. I would love to see us play with this. And we never go so far as to make fun of sort of like losing humanity, losing morality. But there is this sense of like, there's a cost to action. And like sort of like in the John Wick movies, the longer you, like by movie 4, he's ragged and run down and tired, and that's sort of kind of the way we play, is like, this is a hard life, this is a hard world, these are hard characters with hard expectations. Even in Beast, as just an example for a game that we finished, you saw the way that even in the 3 weeks that encompassed that entire game, all of Beast Society was at stake. There was an extinction event, there was bad guys, there's the entire weight of every game that came from 2000 to 2020 weighs in on every game that comes before it. So something that we do in the SU that most people don't do, I think, in Dungeons and Dragons, is we allow anything and everything that happened before to be canon. And anything and every character that's ever been created can become an NPC. And so you
Which
can... Huh?
Which I love. Just that
as an
characters
idea.
Pop back in and I don't know, has more meaning to it when they show up and stuff.
Yeah. So I think I don't have to make as many maps. I don't have to paint as many minis, but I have to put a lot more attention into writing descriptive scenes. I have to put a lot more attention into what do they see, hear, smell, taste, because those are the things that's going to reach you through the camera, through the lens of distance.
Yeah.
Whereas in person, with an example of one of my favorite things I ever did in D&D, it's so simple, but I talk about it all the time, is the tar pit monster. They had to, a caravan had to move across a jungle at night. They had to cross a rope bridge that went over tar pits, bubbling tar pits. There was no other way to go. They could choose to camp, but that was equally dangerous. they needed to make it to somewhere safe to set up camp, so they chose to cross the bridge. And there was this dinosaur that could move through the muck, that could sail through the oil and move through the tar. And it was called the Tar Pit Reaper, and it jumped up, and the tar had eroded. Oh yeah, show it. And the tar had eroded its body. This is actually a mini from Dragon Trapper's Lodge, which I subscribe to. And the idea was that it had adapted to its environment, even if that meant molting away its skin, all of that stuff. So it was an unavoidable horror. But I could showcase that horror without having to use, like, I could lower the lights. I could put on eerie music. I could put the monster, and I could show the map. And that did a lot of the work for me. Whereas in WOD, that same scene requires some verbal setup, some storytelling.
You wouldn't be like, imagine this guy.
Yeah,
on your bridge.
I could totally hold up my monsters to the camera now that I'm seeing you do this. That looks amazing. I've never thought to do that. But that was something I did for D&D. And that's a hand paint job.
Yeah.
Tar Pit Reaper, one of my very favorites.
Fucking dinosaurs in D&D.
That was the best. Oh my god, I love that.
Why not?
Unreal.
Oh my god, remember the level 3...
What else do I have to go get?
No, you don't have to get anything. But remember, like, the farm... Remember the Farmomancer?
Aw, the little radishes?
Oh my god, yes!
Oh, that was so good. Okay.
He was so fun.
Now that you've
Anyways,
asked the
we're not
question,
here about...
I'm going to ask a question for you two.
Oh, no.
Representing River and Rain. So, your characters are not real. You know they're not. You know they don't have human souls.
They're real.
They're real, but they're not human. They're not the way they want to be. What does your character believe will make them real? What experiences do you think you need to experience in order to craft? So far, you've sort of played it by ear, right? And sometimes you do things and you get rewarded with vitriol. But now that you've experienced that feeling of like, oh my god, I can feel my stomach almost getting full. I can feel my Promethean body getting more real. What do you feel you need to experience next in order to become real? What things have you never experienced that are interesting?
I think River needs to feel and truly understand what the feeling is of love and family. I think that she sees the world like so dark and only cares about Rain, and like at the end of the day likes her, like, it's throngmates. I almost said brood, sorry.
The broodmates are
like,
strong. Throngmates.
She likes her group. She has had moments with like each and every one of them of like trying to connect and trying to be like a real human of like what they would do and like what their emotions are, but I think a lot of times she doesn't really know how to do that, and so a lot of times that's why she'll give like a nod or like some kind of form of acknowledgement, but she doesn't really know how to like express feelings of like care, love, and those kind of emotions. And so I mean, I think obviously she's probably at her age and like her extent, she's convinced that like, well, she just needs an eye and then she'll be good to go. But I think realistically, to actually like become human and like have that full human experience, besides like becoming whole as an actual Promethean, I think that she has to figure out how to let that feeling of love, care, affection in, because she's very much just like, anytime somebody shows her affection, she's like, get off of me, what the fuck is that? So I think that she has to like learn to like accept the hug, accept the embrace, accept the hand on the shoulder, and not be like, fucking stop touching me.
Oh my god, for real.
Yeah.
What about you, Miss Rain? The withering stare. Ah!
Sorry,
I'm usually upstairs and safe from it.
If looks could kill.
Yeah, dude. My darling wife.
I feel like I want to say love and family, but I also don't think that we are capable of finding love or family. like in the
True.
world. So I mean, I don't know. I feel like
That, real quick, that would be an interesting talk. River and Rain asking Adonis about love. He's the only person who's ever had sex, who's ever kissed, who's ever held hands, who's ever done any of those things.
yeah, and he feels more alone than everyone. Don't he, love?
Don't he, love?
Don't he, love?
Yeah, he do.
Come on now, mate. Just kidding. We love you, Adonis.
We love
Or-
you. Don't.
Well, Adonis is like Adonis and Moses. I feel like are the ones that like at their core feel the most like unfulfilled and like looking for something and the most alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like River and Rain, yes, we're like this sucks not being human, but like we don't really experience like abandonment in the same way because we
you have each other. Yeah.
And
That's
Linda
very
is a
true.
robot, so like I'm sure Linda seeks out like wanting to have that urge of like knowing love and finding family as well. But like I feel like
She
Linda,
might not even like truly understand what that means. Where I feel like
Yeah.
we like kind of need it, but I think you're right that like we have each other, and so like part of us is like, well, we're not really alone, and we're
Yeah.
not abandoned because like we still have each other, and
I feel like Linda's
yeah, and
truthfully.
we've never even really been like split up. Like I feel like every time we've like stuck together,
Yeah.
the only time that we kind of went like without hand in hand
Was like in
per
the
se,
asylum.
was when we were in torment, which we didn't really care.
Your
And then as soon as we're
torments
out of
are
torment,
too
we're like-
different. Yeah, you would never hold hands in torment.
Yeah, so I guess that's a good point too. Of like, yeah, we have like an understanding of companionship without realizing like the depth, I think, of what that is.
Oh, I interrupted you at some point.
Oh no, you're good.
Sorry, I kind of went into. You keep going.
I'm so sorry.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like maybe it's hard for Rain because she's like very. I feel like she's very moldable and very like adolescent in her thought patterns, and so she's just like, yeah, we'll do this. That's okay. We'll just do that instead.
Mm-hmm.
Like she doesn't get super like thrown off when the game changes. So I don't know. I feel like maybe like the fulfillment for Rain would be like finding a place like I guess in the grand scheme would be like a cabin surrounded by nobody because then it would feel like she was living normally.
Mm-hmm.
But they would still not have anybody to like that would feel the disquiet. I don't know. I think the
I think the end game for Brain and River would be just in a cabin in the woods, alone with each other.
yeah. I think
As
like
the
finding their
storyteller-
humanity would be like having to stop running. Like we would just be like, this is our place. We don't have to go anywhere. Like
We
we'd
don't have
find
to run. We don't have to worry
Yeah.
about others. We don't have to worry about fucking anybody up. Like
And
we're
yeah, and
finally
we'd
just
have-
whole and alone.
carnivorous plants that like boggy swamp.
That is peace, but
But it's
that
okay,
might
we
not
can
be
have
enough
corpse
to make
flowers.
humanity. You could live
Yeah.
all the way. Honestly, and it's such a weird thing, is like, what is a life? Do you need to be human to find fulfillment? Or can you, like, as two undead creatures, can you find a place to be happy and spend your 100 years? Because your flame will subsist for a good amount of time, but eventually it'll burn out if you don't become human. Is that enough to live and die? Humans live and die. That's a human lifespan, 100 years. What
And
is...
some humans, they just strive to have that, like, just that peace of mind, and that's all they really need. So then it's like, do you find humanity just by finding that, like, peace with each other and, like, solitude, or is it like, do you need more?
In the Promethean book, it does talk a lot about how, like, Prometheans innately hate themselves for being monstrous, for being unnatural. But there is, and we don't talk about it a lot, but there is one being in... she's called the Queen of the Centimani. She was hinted at in earlier bits of this chronicle. There was somebody somewhere who found peace in her Promethean existence and chose not to become human. Chose to continue being Promethean to the day she died. And in it found a measure of not only peace but power. And she's called the Centimani Queen. That's pretty cool. So it's an interesting game. I think that's something that you own, like in just once again to talk about the difference in D&D. you have a lot of like, you're almost expected to play the good guys and go up against bad concepts. In WoD, and especially in the Sanguine Universe, in WoD the idea is World of Darkness, the idea is to play monsters. Just to get the feeling of what that's like to have to feed, to have to hunt, to have to kill, to have to hurt.
You are the bump.
You're the bump in the night. But in Sanguine games, we take that a step further, and we often put these monsters in situations where they have to become the hero, where they have to do the right thing, where they have to rise up against an even greater evil.
Yeah.
And that shows the humanity within the monster, and that's something I love about our games.
Yeah, because, like, what is humanity? You know what I mean? Like, is it just, like, what classifies that? Is it, like, can you find it with... I mean, I think a lot of it is just mindset. If you think you need a specific thing, then you're not going to be fulfilled until you have that thing. But if you're living life like Rain, where you don't really feel like you need anything and you're just kind of going with the flow, like, what is it that you necessarily need to have that humanity? Because if you're not, like, searching for something, if you don't have that hole that you think you have to fill, you could find it as a broken Promethean, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to be full because you're not, like, searching for it, you know?
Well, we never talk about Endgame, but, like, and this is just a prediction, but, you know, who knows? Could be a spoiler.
I was like, you're giving us a prediction.
Imagine, though, if at the end of it all,
if gods could share their predictions.
Moses, Adonis, and Linda made the transition to be mortal, and River and Raid had the experience to do it and spent it. So that way they would spend their final years in total power, in total, you know, like that's so different.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what you know what I mean? So it's like some people might not be willing to, like, get rid of what they know for the unknown, even if they think it's the right path or whatever.
I mean, your mindsets might change. Like, you've heard of Adonis's exploits, but you've never seen him kiss another person. You've never seen somebody make love. You've never seen love, like real love, like not sisterly love, but love. You know? There are a lot of things about being human that Prometheans just don't get. Getting cold and having a blanket wrapped around them. Feeling the taste of hot chocolate. You know, like, that's a personal love. I love hot chocolate. I mention it a lot.
I know. I was going to say, did you get your hot chocolate today?
I didn't get my hot chocolate today. It's warm.
It is almost too warm. It's like all week was like kind of hot chocolate weather. Not today.
Yeah, all week was hot chocolate weather. You didn't have hot chocolate.
I did not.
Shucks.
Oh man, I like this. This is fun. What other questions you got?
I'll do my next question because unfortunately I do have to log off here after this one, and I'm so sorry because I am enjoying this as well. It's devastating. I might be able to log back in once I get off the dirt road, like while I'm in my car, like be able to at least talk without my camera on, but I'll lose service when I leave the house, so.
I mean, we've done almost 40 minutes, I think.
I was like, we're chatting with ourselves.
Yeah, we're chatting. It'll be good.
The joys of living in the boonies, though. You lose service when you leave your house.
Yeah, tell us about it, bruh.
Bruh.
Oh my gosh, it's true.
We're like in the mountains and you're in the wide plains.
Yeah.
Two of
our players come live. Yeah, 2 of our players come live from California. 3 of us come from Oklahoma.
None of that's true.
Sorry. 2 of them come from California, 3 from Colorado, 1 from Oklahoma.
I was like, none of that's true.
My family is from Oklahoma.
None of that is true.
Yeah. Jordan's family is there.
Yeah. Okay, so I think my next one, if I have to pick just one more, which is devastating. I really want to ask that question, but I feel like in the role of which we are going, I should ask the other question.
You should save your list, and then you can ask your questions next time.
Yeah, we'll do one of these whenever we have to accidentally cancel again.
Okay, I'll save my question, because I'm like, oh shit, I'm torn between my 2 questions. Okay, well, one of the ones that we kind of found earlier that, like, you kind of, like, we did, like, the AI just to help us with the questions, but I think it's a really good one. If you could live in a fantasy world, what, like, any of the fantasy worlds, like, what would it be? I think that's a good question, like, especially because you've created so many, that it's like, would you pick one that somebody else created? Would you pick one of your own creations? Like, where, and, like, if you did choose one, like, why? Like, what inspiration gave you to be like, that's worth it?
That's such an ego question. Would you pick one of your own?
Neverland!
I once upon a time said that I would love to be able to duplicate myself and play in my own games because I would fuck with me so hard. Oh,
Yeah.
Just give James like 15 years.
The hardest
He'll fuck
time.
with you. Yeah.
Damn. I will
Baby
say,
James.
Alfonso knows this. There are two worlds that I think about often as places I would love to go, and they are the most PG of worlds with the most mature of sub-themes. I would love... Oh my fuck, this is not... Alright, this is dumb. I've fantasy worlds. I would love to go into the world of Pokemon. If I'm being
Oh my god.
straight
Amazing.
up.
Oh, amazing.
I once ran a Pokewad. Okay, Alfonso once ran a Pokewad game. Pokewad, by the way. So the World of Darkness system, if you've ever wondered, like, oh, what the fuck can I use to make anything? Yeah, there's GURPS, which is like the general role-playing system. You can make anything with GURPS, that's true. But you can also make anything with the core World of Darkness book. We've done Ninja Wad, Shinobi Wad. We've done Racer Wad, Mortal Kombat Wad, Fighter Wad, Superhero. Oh my god, Heroes Wad was amazing. We've done
We had like our anime D&D game. You know
Anime
what I mean? Like,
D&D?
just stuff like that.
Yeah, we've done Pokewad. But, so I feel like one of the worlds I would love to go in is Pokemon. Like, yes, it's pet fighting to an extent.
Pet fighting.
But there's such a beautiful world there where you and your team can fucking rise to great heights. I would love that. Another one I would love to go to, and this is kind of funny. I wrote one of the things. So my love letter to Alfonso when I first met him was I would show him my writing. I'm a writer now. I'm an author now. But I would be like, look, bro, I wrote this thing. I wrote a character. This character's you. Read this thing. It's you. And he'd be like, what? This is me? And he'd read the 12 pages and be like, this is fucking tight. He said, of course he was super invested. But one of the ones I wrote was at the time, this tells my age, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX was out. And this was the idea that there was a high school where duelists would go to become better duelists, and they would go on to become pro duelists and go to duelist college and yada yada. And the idea was that in this world, there wasn't football, there wasn't NASCAR, there wasn't baseball. There was stadiums with pro duelists using hologram technology for their cards to appear life-size. And these duels were larger than life with sound effects and themes and entrance musics. And it's honestly, it's 90% what wrestling does. WWF, WWE, AEW, TNA, New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's 90% all of that, but with playing cards. And so getting into the Yu-Gi-Oh world would be one that I would love. Would I ever pick my own fucking worlds? No. No, I wouldn't. Would I willingly send me into the Sanguine Universe? No.
You don't want to go to Two Cliche Titans.
Because, I mean, look, even when you're making your own characters, you're encouraged to make flaws. You're encouraged to break a leg if you're an Olympic skater. You're encouraged to have a vice, to have some, you know? And then not only that, vampires, werewolves, Prometheans, sin eaters. I would say the second chances are endless. You know, if you die in our world, you just die. But if you die in the Sanguine Universe, if you die in the World of Darkness, somebody may find your body and stitch you back together and name you River. You know, like, what the fuck? So the second chances are endless, but is it fun? No, it's horrifying. The books I wrote, oh my god, come here.
George.
The books I wrote, like Kingdom of Blood, that happened after lots and lots
Of George's.
Georgie.
Oh, also, you're right, baby. Great idea. We will plug the description so you can buy your copy of Kingdom of Blood on Amazon.
Oh yeah. One of these bad boys.
Quite good. You should buy it. Also, the short stories are super fun, and you should definitely read Erebus Arcade as well.
Descent into Darkness as well.
I'm a writer. Also, what's fun is I have another one coming out soon on Kindle called Blood in the Hourglass, which is just 100 pages of also...
Jordan's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, also short stories. Similar...
Alright.
Yeah, she wasn't...
How is it going public?
Well, you read Ghost. Remember Ghost?
Yeah.
That's the summit. That's in there.
Oh.
It's a collection of short stories. She reads all my short stories. She's my beta reader. But this is my pride and joy. Kingdom of Blood. Please pick this up on Amazon. I love it so much. Characters like Pixie Blade, Virgil the Vain,
Kale.
oh my god, Finn, Kale, Jesse. So good. They become what's known as the House of War. They face off against crazy characters like Despot 13. They're enslaved by a gladiator, ludus monstrosity fey overlord by the name of Gaius Ular Tyrannus. So good. But if you've got little ones, pick up Midnight Bites. Midnight Bites is good.
I'll say it every time. There's like a good 3 chapters kind of towards the end that like I physically like looked up from my book and like it took my brain multiple seconds to be like, oh, I'm in reality. I'm not in that story. Like it was literally watching, like it was the craziest like suck into a story that I've honestly had in a long time. Mm-hmm. Which is just so fun from like a kid's story.
It's graded. It's graded like ages. I don't know. Apologies, but it's graded for ages like 10 to 12, 8 to 12 maybe, and it has no cursing. It talks about the Sanguine Universe in ways that's absolutely adorable, but it's still frightful. It's in the vein of old Goosebumps books that I used to read when I was a kid. Best yet, it's first part of a series. I'll have the second one, The Skin They're Living In, coming in maybe. What? Yeah.
Okay, well, it's done, but it's not quite done.
It's not quite done.
It's not almost.
I'll have another.
You'll get it soon.
The second Midnight Bites will be coming soon. This one features Zoe and Becca. Is there like an
actual second book to this one?
No. It's going to be another standalone.
Do you know what I'm saying? Do you see where my brain was going?
I see where your brain is going.
I'm like, oh my god.
This one features Carter Torres and his gamer title, Tower 12, whereas the second one, Midnight Bites.
The Skin We're Living In.
The Skin We're Living In is a more story about Zoe and Becca. They live in Colorado. Their parents go to DIA and don't come home. But something does. And so we're starting to figure out...
Can I say like my... Well, I'm not going to say it to you to ask you if I can say it, but Life 360 gone wrong. Basically.
Yes. There's some location apps, and it's going to be a fun one.
Oh, that one's gonna be fun. I'm excited.
Whereas this one
you'll get it for editing.
Had like a little boy as your main character. Zoe and Becca are much more sporty. They love scary stories. They love baseball and hockey. They're tough Colorado girls. So it's gonna be There many times you'll have this like, no, don't go in that tunnel, and they flick their flashlights and they go because they're bold.
Because they're empowered. Bold,
yeah,
young
dude,
ladies.
like they're tough. So I love writing stories.
I'm like that in real life, but let's be real, I would absolutely, like, I hear a ghost in the house, I'm fucking moving.
I'm running. I'm running away.
I'm not going to go into the crawl space. I'm not going to go after the noise. I'm going to grab my dog and I'm going to leave the premises as fast as possible.
We haven't gotten to it, but like the contents of the last game, what do we call it? The Firstborn? The Firstborn is going to...
The last
Chronicle
game.
with Cece, with Sonia, with Jevin. The Firstborn is going to become a novel. So will eventually. Yeah. So will eventually. This one, The Wrong Side of Heaven, will eventually become a novel as well. So gradually, everything works in.
Because that was the perfect roll into.
Okay.
What's your process of turning game into story? That was literally a question.
Oh, that process is hella fun. Okay, so...
Like, you take certain pieces out and, like, change certain things, and then I do have to go, but that was just a really good...
No, it's a good one. So, obviously our games, with the lingo they use, that's sort of like proprietary stuff, right? Dungeons & Dragons owns its own stuff, World of Darkness owns its own stuff. When it comes to the Sanguine Universe and pumping out these novels, a big part of it is like, I use the system, I don't use the lingo or lore. So vampires, werewolves, changelings, all that stuff, I sort of will get really creative with how things get transferred over. But one of the main things is, at the end of every game, I take really neutral notes. You've seen them. They're my
your recaps.
My recaps. I have a Facebook channel and a Discord channel, and I will, at the end of every game, maybe 1 or 2 days later, I'll pump out a recap. That's like 1,500 words of what happened last game. And this isn't, it's not detailed in the way like so-and-so used this spell, used this ability, used this thing. it's this character did these actions in this way. It felt like this. Because that's what's important. When it comes to telling a story, when it comes to writing a novel, it's not as important to bust out like class, race, history, background, all the things that may factor into a character. Some of that stuff is proprietary and it belongs to the table. But the character itself, Cece, the figure skater with a broken leg, with a frost giant inside of her, that's a story. Sonia, who lost her parents, who has a kraken inside of her, that's a story. Fucking River and Rain, who don't understand where they're coming from, but they keep getting these visions of these red-haired children and this family that was perfect and beautiful. That's a story. But actually going in and naming the technology and naming the lexicon that was already laid out before me, no, that's somebody else's work. What I really care about is the story. You know, once upon a time, Mary Shelley busted out Frankenstein as a dare in a rainstorm in order to who can pump out the best horror story. And two of the best things ever created came out of that writing session. Vampire, the first vampire story, and Frankenstein. And so for me, it's all about what really makes these characters, you know, like not what their stats are, not what their merits are, not what their lineage is, but who are they as characters. And so that's what I try to pump out in my recap. And those recaps at the end of the day, they become the skeleton and the blueprint for these books. So take detailed notes, storytellers. If you ever want to turn your stories into books, if you ever want to like follow in the footsteps of your favorite writers and turn something that you played in into a book, just take really detailed notes about like not necessarily what spell was cast when, but how it felt, what it looked like, and
emotion behind it.
Yeah, the emotion behind it. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
I love that. Also, circling back, I would live in the Avatar world and hope to God that I was an earthbender. But I love you guys both, and I will catch you next time. To anybody who sees this, I hope you get a little bit of insight into who we are. And also to see that I am not a raging asshole. I am actually a very nice person.
She's a very nice person.
My favorite person.
Yes.
Aside from this
I
one.
love you both. I love our fans. I love our team. And I will talk to you guys later.
Love you.
We love you. Have a beautiful day.
Thanks, Jordan.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Jordan. So yeah, now it's just the two of us, but we'll still answer a few more questions.
Do some question and answer now that our lovely Jordan has departed us for the time.
Oh, you did good. Let's do a handful more.
Okay. I don't know how to get that other screen out of the way.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah. We have a little bit of time left. We've already sort of gone about an hour, but let's go a handful more.
Okay. We can do that.
Can I ask you a question?
If you must.
I must! Sorry. Okay. This one's a little weird.
Okay.
So, in creating a character for Promethean, which is the Chronicle we're playing, The Wrong Side of Heaven, the idea is that you were sort of a dead creature put together by many pieces, in this case a Frankenstein, an exact take on Mary Shelley's creation. But with that, there was this moment where you got to like, okay, what's my stamp on it? What's my creative take? What real-world philosophies or stories inspired your take on making a Frankenstein monster? Like when you set out to make Rain, what kind of thoughts were moving through your brain?
Well, I guess like I don't know if she's still the same like creature that I created when I was like channeling inspiration for her.
Yeah.
I think initially what I wrote on the character sheet, initially, when creating Rain, I was going for a creature similar to Bella, who is from the movie Poor Things.
Yes.
Don't watch it with your children.
Do not.
It's a great movie about a woman who was brought back to life and pretty much has to relearn from childhood as an adult person, experiencing everything as a child would, but as an adult, and is very curious and wants to just like learn everything and doesn't really ask permission or forgiveness and just jumps right in.
Oh, it's trippy.
Pretty much.
It's a very Promethean movie.
It is very good. A little too much of the rated X part are inserted throughout the movie, but that's fine because it's takes place in an old time where
it's like a Victorian era almost. It's like Victorian steampunk.
It's like that's how you get syphilis. Anyways, but yeah, I mainly based her off of Bella, who was very childlike, very much experiencing everything for the first time as an adult, but also as Gother from Seven Deadly Sins.
Oh my God, Gother.
And he was just, or they really more were a character in Seven Deadly.
They take their head off.
And they were just such a creature of just like not quite knowing the ins and outs of social norms, maybe not quite making people feel as comfortable as they should with certain things. And Gother very much was like, didn't really know he had done wrong until he did.
He should have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's almost, for me, it's very hard to figure out what exactly Gother is. Like, they are a Promethean.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think in creating Rain, I really wanted her to be just like, almost like unapologetically looking for anything, really.
Where did the voice come from?
The voice?
That like maniacal, like you do.
Do you know where the voice came from?
No.
Well, it's just a voice, obviously. Why would she have a voice? Come from somewhere.
He's wonderful.
So yeah, Rain is like very cheerful and she's really happy with everything, and the sun and the rain and the doggies and the kitties and the music. Maybe she's a little bit of Tiny Tina, let's be real.
Let's be real. Come here, babe.
Yeah, I think that Rain is, she tries not to be very angry, tries not to have a lot of torment, but when that happens, she can be very cold and very angry and very like, it's like her and River are only the same when they're in torment, I feel.
Yeah. You get really angsty and she gets really cold, but in a weird way you align.
Yeah, also now that I did that voice, she definitely has some Tiny Tina underlines in there.
Yeah, now that you can see it.
She just loves life, baby! Yeah. Let's see. Oh, we have a question, or maybe not. Hello, Scarlet Warlock.
The Goatson fun character. Oh, it's Zero. Yes.
Yep.
The Goatson Zero.
Well, since you are joining the interview with the storyteller, do you have any questions for us, good Sir Scarlet Warlock?
You gotta let us know in the comments, though.
But let us know in the comments, because you can't verbally tell us out loud.
Do you have another in the meantime, what else we got?
In the meantime, I'm not going to turn my computer on because then I have to log in and it makes a noise. And, well, you broke immersion, pal. Anyways, in the meantime, one of the things that I have noticed about you is that you love creating characters. Mm-hmm. So when creating a collection of characters, say like for a village or maybe a single character that's like a shop owner, what are the key things that you create about them first?
For what?
Anybody. Is it just a name? Is it their personality?
It's almost always the name first.
The name first?
It's almost always the name first, and then I'll try to base a lot of it off of the name. Like, you kind of want to, especially in WoD, you almost want them to feel the type of character they're going to get off of hearing
Tiberius!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
For my own characters, like, okay, I guess I'll give up a secret, a real secret that I absolutely use.
Okay.
I am abnormally influenced by music.
You don't say.
Yeah, I do say. I was the singer for a metal band when I was younger. I've loved music my whole life. The best part about any wrestling video game is creating entrances, and not because of the entrance, because of the music. And the best part of any wrestler's entrance isn't even them. It's the music. And the fireworks and the way the crowd gets to react and the pulse of it all. A real good example is Avatar just put out this new single. Their album isn't even out, right? But they pumped out a new single called Captain Goat. He who he who knows the boat steers us clear of jagged shores. He who's crowned with horns row us home. Captain Goat. Right? So good. Seems pretty like, okay, well, how did that influence you? Well, if you've seen The Wrong Side of Heaven recently.
Last episode, really.
There's a character named Captain Togue, which is goat spelled backwards with the sort of like the phonetic spelling reversed. Captain Togue is a goat changeling who is in charge of a longship channeling the Prometheans from Purgatory to Arcadius. Captain Togue rows the boat. Captain Togue steers them clear of jagged shores. Like, it influenced that whole fucking thing. I could have easily, it wasn't such a thing to say, but like most storytellers could easily have been like, okay, well, you go from here to here, let's cut out the middleman. But the middleman inspired me. The middleman was an adventure. The middleman was the sea of blood, a goat changeling navigating a long ship crewed by 90 to 100 dead people pounding their drums and rowing through jagged lightning. And the scene was so strong in my mind that I couldn't avoid it. I didn't want to speed through the transition from Purgatory to Arcadius. I didn't want to take for granted the idea that you were stepping onto a longship, a Viking longship with corpses sailed by a strange creature who was clearly fucking mad, and you were leaving all of your hopes to become human behind. That you could die here, that anything could happen here, that nothing was sacred here. And it was like this song was just so much for me. So one of the big things for me is music. Music helps me make characters. Music helps me make arcs. The lyrics, like not a lot of people, but like when you and I have talked about music, like we'll hear the same song and you'll hear the instruments, you'll hear the rhythms, the pre-chorus, the chorus, outros. I'll hear the lyrics.
Yeah,
and
like the lyrics are like just another line of musicality.
Yeah,
it's like I just hear it amongst the harmonies, amongst the melodies, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize how terrible
this song was.
That song
was. The lyrics.
They were like how bad they were talking about like terrible things. James was like, yeah, that's why I like this song, or that's why I don't like this song, and I'm like, well, the way they say it just sounds so beautifully.
Yeah, I was like, but they're saying terrible things.
Yeah.
Or Tommy Wonder is another good one.
That's a character you created as well, right?
A character I created as well. I got his character sheet signed by the band that inspired him.
That's true.
The band that inspired Tommy Wonder is Camelot, and their songs often reference a character named Helena, who this unnamed character, the main singer of Camelot, is in love with, but cannot decipher if this woman is alive or dead or a figment of his imagination. And that, over the course of albums, which is decades for me now, it inspired a character who potentially killed his lover but can't remember.
And
constantly looks for her and uses, as he gets new powers, he uses those powers to bargain for time that he spends looking for someone who may or may not be alive. And it's like this whole thing that's, he's crazy powerful, crazy inspired, crazy. So music really hits me hard. A character named Tom Hood, I was inspired by the vocalists of Lamb of God and Dark Tranquility. They have this sort of like Dark Tranquility speech, and I imagine, like, what if this guy had his throat slit and that's the only way he could speak? It caused him pain. He took literal bash damage every time he opened his mouth. So he only spoke if it was important. So whenever he opened his mouth,
It's
you
like,
listened.
yeah, it was like the words that he says are like world crashing.
Yeah, so it was, music really hits me hard, and it has a very special place in like how I create.
Okay. Well, okay. I have a question from Bouncy Rain Cloud. We have a question from the chat.
Oh, beautiful. I know this
One of
wonderful
our
soul.
dear friends. How do you decide which subsets, i.e. Promethean or Vampire, to move to next?
In the past, I would just do it. If I'm just being honest,
We're doing this, let's go,
I would just
team.
use my
Yeah.
force of personality and say, this is what we're doing next. But as we started moving to a more professional level, i.e. Chance Die, I started taking votes on Discord. The last game actually could have been something completely different, but someone voted for...
Was it going to be Werewolf?
It was going to be Werewolf the Forsaken, and somebody voted for Promethean and then exited. So his vote counted, and we made plans to make this game. And so we entered into Promethean, but if we were real about it, it was Werewolf that won the vote, but the work had already been done, we'd already chosen. In the past, when I would just sort of wing it, it was always on things that really inspired me. I will make no qualms, one of my very favorite games in WoD is Werewolf the Forsaken. I think it's one of the most beautiful games ever written. Not the Apocalypse. The Apocalypse is beautiful in the way that this is the game that came before Forsaken. Apocalypse is beautiful in the fact that like werewolves are fighting to stop global warming. They're fighting to stop their natural forests from being decimated and the spirits that live in those forests. And that still happens in Forsaken. But in Forsaken, you get this sort of lineage of like, these are Mother Luna's children. And half of them sided with one ideology and half of them sided with the other. But both sides have access to the spirit world. And the spirit world is so beautiful. If you grew up with Pocahontas, if you grew up with Miyazaki films and things like that, the idea that every physical and emotional idea that ever existed in the material world has an echo in the spiritual is gorgeous. That favorite car that you love more than anything has an echo. That book that you've read so many fucking times that it's just run down and ragged, like my copy of Vampire Lestat, has there's a book spirit that was born from that interaction. Every murder, every birth, every tree, every emotion spirits are some of my favorite. One of a very complicated
Karas.
one. Karas, yeah. Karas, if you've ever seen, it's a kind of an obscure anime flick, but Karas is beautiful. The idea is there's a spirit world and it lives side by side with us, and someone has to defend it. Someone has to defend it from threats that they can't even see. When you build into a sacred mountainside, when you start housing projects that cross over ancient lands, those lands have spirits that are not getting represented, and werewolves represent those spirits. They fight to stop those housing projects. They fight to protect their sacred lands. They fight to stop evil spirits and protect good spirits. So for me, that was one I've longed for, and if you ever see it on Chance Die, know that I'm extremely passionate about it. We're gonna hit it eventually. Promethean was chosen. It was, even though it won the vote, there was still this moment where it was like we had to ask each
Are we
other,
ready for
are
that?
we okay with this? Our group, our play group, WoD calls us an acting troupe, and I love that term because it's true enough. But our group has kind of a history. I wouldn't say we're sick or anything, but we have a history of mental illness.
We're sick!
We some of us come from ADHD or darker backgrounds. A few of us are orphans who went through the foster care system. There's some PTSD in our group. There's some depression and some other stuff, right? So being real, playing a werewolf is empowerment fantasy. Playing a vampire is empowerment fantasy. Even playing a changeling where you got taken from your mortal life but you get this new life and powers stacked upon powers. There's an empowerment fantasy to it. Promethean is dark, okay? And 3 of our group have read the book front to back, and we came to the conclusion that many of us weren't in the right spot to talk about the necessary themes that mean when you build a soul from scratch. Like, can you imagine waking up one day as a fully grown adult in a body that's not yours? You know it's not yours. You know the land around you is rotting because of you. You know that everything wrong that's happening in your body is because you shouldn't exist. You know that you have to build a soul, but should you? Do you deserve to exist? Like, it's such a dark game. And in that regard, we had to ask ourselves, okay, are we ready? And in our 20s, our 25s, our 30s, many of us weren't. Okay, it wasn't until a lot of us got married, started families, settled down, that we were able to kind of come to terms with the themes of this game and actually run it in the way that it needs to be run. And the way I'm running the game is, honestly, it's not as dark as it could be. It's not as brutal as it could be if I had kept Storyteller secrets. I don't mean to yawn. Oh my. If I had kept... I'm getting excited and the excitement's taking excitement out of my body. But if I had taken them... If I had left them in the material world, 100%, Wasteland effect and Disquiet effect would be causing so much emotional turmoil and triumph. Sorry, emotional turmoil, and that's it. That they would have been kind of just like dying inside. And I love my players. They're my friends. They're not just strangers to me. They're my wife, they're my best friend, they're my brother, they're my sister. They're another one of my best lady friends. We love you, Jordan. And the last thing I want to do is cause so much pain. And that's another thing to work about with games in the World of Darkness is you have to mitigate, how much suffering encompasses each episode. You want them to have the week in between to regain their actual willpower and to come back to it refreshed because it hurts. Promethean does in fact actually hurt a little bit. Building that soul, role-playing, feeling things, leaving you, hurting you, saying mean things to you, watching the land you love die around you, it can be really tough. So when it comes to like what games we pick, where are we at in our actual lives plays a huge role.
Snowballing off of that, it's like a part 2 of the question is, do you have any idea where you're going to go to next? Do you have an idea of what you want to play next? Or are you going to bring it up to me joining in? Or are you going to bring it up to the team again?
There are a number of games I really want to play next. You could probably tell my excitement for Werewolf is palpable. There are a number of part 2s. So before we became a show, we played for 15 years. You'll see that in some of our WAD books. Sorry, not WAD books. My apologies. In some of our Sanguine Universe books, you'll see us talk about how we played for 15 years.
Descent into Darkness is a complete collection of so many stories.
You'll get a lot of
that
the
are
World
all
of Darkness.
different characters from the Sanguine Universe.
Yeah.
Different stories you've played, all different people that have played those characters, lots of different fun stories.
But where we go to next, often, in some ways it's just excitement. Werewolf seems like a logical place. Vampire seems like a logical place. But as we were talking about, we've run a bunch of games in the past. I've run 2 Changeling games. So if we did Changeling again, for you, my beautiful viewers, it would be the first time you're seeing this story. But for a lot of my players, this would be considered Changeling 3. If we did Vampire and we followed up on Ashcroft and Peyton, Dakota, things of that nature, this would be Vampire 2. Sin Eater is one that I started but didn't get to finish. I would absolutely love to go back to Sin Eater and do a Sin Eater 1. But then there are also some custom games. There are storylines that have occurred in the last couple of games that breed more storylines. Once upon a time, in the far-off land of 2019.
No. Pre-COVID?
No, I'm sorry. Let's go even further back. In the far off land of 2010.
Wow.
Good God. We ran a game. Do you hear that? We ran a game called Sanguine Nights. Sanguine Nights.
Before 2010.
It might have been 2009, huh?
Because I met you in 2010.
You met in 2010. 2009 then, Sanguine Nights. This was a 9-man game, and it was enormous. Every race, Inu, Zero, Jack, Biss, Megan, Aaron, Shannon.
Ed? Question?
No.
Ebony?
No. Ebony. Oh my God, it was larger. And and Hannah. Oh my God, it was large.
That was way before me.
It was an enormous game. The idea was that the government.
Karina says Greg and me. There was 12 of us.
Yeah, there was 12. Oh my God, Gregoro as Kiero. Yeah, absolutely.
Eb was Zero and Biss.
Eb was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all these characters became
I love
legends.
that.
A lot of them actually broke the rules and became blacklisted, but the few who remained...
And they're like our villains now.
They're like the villains now.
Yeah.
And the few who remain have become loyal Sanguine Knights. They're waiting for their call back, essentially.
What are the Sanguine Knights?
The Sanguine Knights... So the idea is...
It's like, you just gave me that question.
In 1816, Charlotte Sanguine founded the Sanguine government. The idea was that technology's on the rise, right? You can't feasibly keep the secret of the veil forever. So you have to form a world government. And she was the most powerful hunter, straight up. She killed mummies, vampires, werewolves, all of them. She was the most powerful killer in the world. And she was the one saying she wanted peace. Backed behind her was a creature named the Egyptian. The Egyptian is a sort of an outer god character, earthbound, and backing Charlotte Sanguine. She succeeds in her endeavor. She forms the world government. But there are outliers. There are vampires who believe that they deserve to sit at the top of the throne. There are creatures that were never bested in combat ever and believe that they don't have to pay fealty to this new government. There are mages who routinely kill other mages and believe that they should sacrifice all of Earth and all of its inhabitants to the Twilight Gods. And so creatures like this exist. Someone has to stop them. Someone has to protect the peace. So Charlotte Sanguine founded the Sanguine Knights, a group of individuals who would come together to hunt the blacklist as they would prey. Not bring them to justice. Kill them. Kill them because they threatened the peace of millions, of billions, of the entire world government and all of Earth society. The Sanguine Knights was a dope idea. It was a monster of the week type of thing where every couple of games you'd have a new villain. Kane, Morbid Locust, Blackout, Azul. It was very fun. And the characters gained experience in the 50s to the hundreds. Can you imagine sitting down at a table and just... I know this is weird numbers for D&D players, but for WoD players, when you get 5 experience a game, and you suddenly get 100 because you beat Kane, because you beat Azul, because you beat back the Morbid Locust's most latest advance. It was crazy. It didn't get finished. It was magnificent. It set the premise for the whole Chance Die, for all of the things we're doing now, and I love it fondly. If I ever run it again, it will be the biggest game I ever run. It will involve the best characters from each chronicle. The strongest characters from Beast, from Promethean, from Changeling, from Vampire. Some of the previous, like if Jack wants to play Bruce again, if Eb wants to play, it's good.
Oh, what if somebody wanted to play, if Jack wanted to play Bruce, but Jack wanted to play Adonis? Would you give the player?
One.
You wouldn't give the players an option to play.
Yes, to pick one. We get one character so we can this is like the X-Men.
Right. You had to fully
Yeah, you got to divulge. So that, I would say,
fully
for
delve.
games that I want to play next, that's on there. That is on there. Sanguine Knights. But it's ambitious because, see, here, I'll just hold up 2 of the books. For my dungeon masters and my storytellers out there, source books are big. When you start to merge multiple races into one group, that's natural for Dungeons and Dragons. That's less natural for World of Darkness. And there's a lot of rules that, you kind of have to use what's called storyteller fiat or finesse in order to sort of like, this was never covered in any book. There's never any typed answer for this question you're about to ask. You have to use your best judgment. And that comes a lot. And it's tricky because you need to honor everything that came before it, right? Like Virgil breaks gravity, he breaks reality. But another character may have an ability that cancels out powers. Who wins? Is it a roll-off? Is it one power beats another? You really have to balance the idea of a true team of supernatural. But when they work together, oh, I swear to God, they can take down gods. It's incredible.
Okay. I have another question from the viewers. And I don't know specifically. I'm gonna say in the world. I'm gonna say that the question is based on the Sanguine Universe. So I'm gonna ask you to answer both of these questions.
Okay.
Who are your 3 favorite villains in the world and in the Sanguine?
Like in our world and in
Yeah, like
okay.
villains of our world. I mean, that's my question on. What is it? Bunny hopping. What is it? Tailing on.
Bunny hopping? I don't know.
Tagging on that one.
Let's say my 3 favorite fictional villains, because I don't want to be like Saddam Hussein, Donald Trump,
Those aren't good people at all.
They're villains.
We're not talking about that.
Okay. I would say my 3 favorite
They wouldn't be
fictional
favorite.
villains. Shit, that's tough. I can name my 3 favorite WoD villains quick, but my 3 favorite fictional villains are tough.
Do your WoD first.
Okay. My WoD ones are
Morbius.
the Morbius Lokis. He's definitely the number 1. My number 2 is Blackout. Because every time he shows up, everybody panics and gets chills. I think my number 3 is I'm gonna have to say Nikolai Hauser. Hauser is not an original creation of me. He's a creation of my second storyteller, Alfonso Catherine, the mighty Abyss. But he built, and that's tricky because if a lot of people will be like, oh, you didn't say Cain. I love Cain. I love Cain so fucking much. But Hauser was built to surpass Cain in his nature.
Well, Hauser's like a scientist, and Kane's just like an OG vamp.
Kane's an aristocrat egotist who doesn't expect to be beat, whereas Hauser is on that evolutionary scale. He wants to have the best bit of every race in his body. Whereas Cain just wants to be the vampire god, wants to rule vampire society, wants to return the world to like blood farms and shit like that. He's a great character, but I would say Morbid Locust, because he's fun. He is the Morbid Locust. The Morbid Locust is great because
The chat says, yes.
Yes. He was, around the time he was created, oh god, this is old. Skyrim was new on the 360 around the time this shit was made. And Skyrim infamously did not use enough voice actors. And the Khajiit and the
They do like the same voices.
and the Argonians were voiced by the same fucking 2 people. The same, so their voices sounded the same. Yes. And so like the Morbid Locust was just like, what if that was like a dude who talked in the third person? The Morbid Locust does not appreciate what you say. Yes. But he was also like this all-powerful mage, so you couldn't make fun of his quirks because he would fucking flay you with a word. Like he's amazing and he's super fun. Blackout appears in every game, no matter what, no matter how trivial, no matter how pointless. He has an agenda, and his agenda is very Deadpool, right? He can break the fourth walls. He has a sort of an awareness of the game as a game, and an awareness of challenge as a challenge, and he has someone he serves. Blackout wants that someone to have the best challenge possible, and as a result, he goes from world to world asking, do you want to make a deal? And people will. He'll find them at their most vulnerable, when they're about to lose a fight for the first time ever, when they're about to experience a TPK, when they're maybe suffering from delusions of grandeur and they shouldn't be talked to. That's the time he finds you. That's the time Blackout manifests and gives you the offer.
Literally like in Changeling. when we were like at the end of our fucking battle.
When you were as we're dying.
Dust was everywhere. We were like, I don't know if we're gonna make it, and then all of a sudden a dagger just falls.
Or someone flips a coin.
Yeah.
And like the coin goes up and you all feel compelled to watch it, and the coin comes down and he's the one who catches it. Yeah. Blackout's really good. The villain for Beast was Nikolai Hauser. And Hauser is built to become the very best of all time. He will, if given enough time, if given enough resources, if left alone long enough, he will become the greatest threat to the Sanguine Universe.
He was created by Storyteller Abyss, or was played by Abyss?
Both. In the sense that he was created by
Alfonso.
Alfonso.
He was the storyteller when he created Nikolai.
Yeah.
So he was an NPC.
He was an NPC for himself.
Damn, I know you run him.
I know. I run him now, but there are games that I get to play in that Alfonso's the storyteller for, and then
calling you out, Christopher.
Then I get my comeuppance.
Okay. Love that. So Blackout's kind of like a Deadpool Lobo King of things.
Yes. Yeah. But there's a few more things. The Joker plays a huge role in his ideas, in how he showed the things.
It was 0.
0, but yeah, the Joker plays a big role, but also some, like, you know how like Two-Face wears like all these suits and they're cut up from other suits. Like half of one suit is one color and half of it is another. A similar idea. Blackout is not a whole person. He uses knives. Yeah, he uses knives and swords because he likes the idea of cutting, but it's because he feels fragmented. His suit is made up of different suits, all cut and stitched together. He controls blood magic and shadow magic. And a lot of the time, he's also built Zero. You'll like this. A big idea for him was Helsing regeneration. The idea that you can roll as many, really get your fucking hits in, hit him, cut him, hurt him, but he's not. It's almost a storyteller. Can you describe him coming back? Can you show what inevitability feels like in a really gruesome carnage way?
That's cool.
Yeah. I dig him. Blackout.
I was going to ask a question, but we had another from the chat. So, in your opinion, which character has been the most difficult to play, and which has been the easiest for you to play?
Like as NPCs that I run, or governing player characters?
I think you. Unless, I think it would be more of like orchestrating the players, otherwise the question would be.
I'll try both. For me, the hardest characters for me to run, I'll just be honest, are...
genuine and nice?
Yeah. I was going to say, it was like, sleazy comes easy. The hardest characters to play are the ones that are like generally good people.
Yeah.
Because I think I've got a bit of a history of like fucking with my players. So when I try to make something good,
they don't trust you.
They feel it's a trap.
They're like, wait a second.
Yeah.
No.
And I think the second hardest to run probably are, I was going to say women, but that's not fair because I'm never sure if I'm doing...
I think you're great at being a lady.
I'm just going to be honest. I sometimes worry that I'm not doing a good job of portraying women. My idea of portraying women is to portray them the way that I saw powerful chicks growing up.
I was going to say, I feel like you just create
Laura Croft, Rhea Ripley, Xena, fucking... If you're a tough, Ripley from Aliens, like if you're a tough, badass chick, you're in my Sanguine Universe. And that's just how I think of my chicks, as just like the baddest of the bad. Otherwise, you're probably not surviving, and I'm not telling a good story based around you. Because my characters are all survivors. Horror trope, the final lady, like the final girl in a horror trope, she's the toughest of the tough. She's fucking psycho tough. The chick who stabbed Jason, so the characters that I'm into are tough. But sometimes I worry that I'm not portraying vulnerability well enough. I have to, if I want you to like the character and he's an innocent or she's an innocent, I have to go over the top. Do you remember Wild Sam? Mm-hmm. You have to go above and beyond to be like, this is a good person, and we will reinforce it in the following chapters. Yeah. So you don't think of them as a sleazy traitor. I think those are the hardest to work around. For player characters, like when I'm a storyteller, and that's 90% of the time, the hardest characters to run the game for are the creatives. Like the ones who see a scene, you say the scene, you say the weather, you say the environment, and then they ask you something that you didn't describe. That, you know, they have an agenda in their mind that has
like,
nothing.
So what's the humidity like?
They have an agenda that has fuck all to do with you. They're like, look, I'm gonna make a bomb, and you're like, well, I didn't set the scene to make a bomb. They're like, well, what are the wires like in this place? What are the, you know, like they have a whole thing going on. I would say people like that are tricky, and the people who are like that, they have a whole agenda. It doesn't just stop
They're
with the
trying
making
to, like,
the bomb.
get into the gears and figure out where they can.
It's
like,
a whole thing. You know, I would say that, because the ones who follow your plot hooks, it's like fishing at that point. No disrespect, but like you're like
to fishermen.
You know, no disrespect. No disrespect to my fish players, but it's kind of like, you know, you're throwing out your reels and you're like, please bite, please bite, please bite, and they do, and you're like, yes. But if they don't, oh my God. Here's an example.
Last game.
Way last game. Oh no.
Like last game.
Tell me.
Literally, you spent hours and hours planning the game, then Jack jumped off the boat, and we spent the entire game trying to rescue him in a completely different way.
That was the best. So I did.
No offense or ill blood towards you, Jack.
Yeah.
But literally, Jack was like, I don't want to.
I don't want to derail the game, and I'm like, no, derail it.
And he's like, I don't want to, and then instead decides to jump off the side of the boat
and derails it completely. That was even more of a derail than just being socially awkward.
Can't blame for that.
No. Yeah, I did 4 to 6 hours of writing on what I thought that game was gonna be, and none of it involved someone jumping overboard.
Yeah.
So that would be another really good example. One of my favorites. Sorry, will love this. I tried to run Sin Eater once, and so first episode you all die, right? You die. You experience the underworld. There's this crushing sense of like, this is it, game 1, and we're dead. That sucks. And then something grabs your hand and is like, we can ascend together, right? That was dope. But that was game 1. Game 2, you come back, but your ghost is sort of projected to other Sin Eaters in the area. Other people know something came back. And so other Sin Eaters are coming to be like, hey, yeah, that sucked. I'm really sorry that happened. You died. 4 out of my 6 players looked at the people, saw their geist, saw the ghost that accompanies the individual, and ran.
Was like, nope.
Physically ran. And so now my NPC, who is tasked with like teaching this so-and-so about what WAD is like, what the SU is like, what being a Sin Eater is like, is now like, do I chase this person? That'll send the wrong message. Oh shit, what do I do? So I would say that was also pretty tricky. Yeah.
That's the end of that one.
That's the end of that one.
All right. From our dear Scarlet Warlock, we have a question about your favorite 3 fictional and WAD femme fatales. Your 3 favorite females.
Pixie Blade.
Well, what?
Pixie Blade is AK's character. The first,
from like 15 years ago.
The first super powerful lady I ever really worked with. And
nothing's changed.
And she's the prelude chapter in Kingdom of Blood, by the way. The idea of Pixie Blade is that in Arcadius, your Fey Lords, they can't have kids, right? That's why they capture kids as early as possible. That's where you get the Peter Pan tropes. But children don't often survive long. Infants, never. So this one guy, Gaius Eular Tyrannus, wanted a child, and his enemy, Dizisdus, figured it out and crafted a child, an infant, like a 1-year-old that could not only survive Arcadius, but grow year by year into the most powerful changeling of all time. In exchange, he had to do something irrelevant to the current conversation.
Read the book.
Yeah, to the current conversation. Pixie Blade grew up in Arcadius, raised to be a gladiator, and she's like a female Kratos in many ways. She wields chain blades that she spins with the finesse of poi. If you've never watched fire spinning or poi spinning, hit up YouTube, check it out, and then imagine that those blades are blades, fucking swords on the end of chains cutting through enemies. Incredible, right? So Pixie Blade wields the winter, love her with all my heart. The second favorite femme fatale is probably going to go to Megan with Alex. Alex Knetsov, I think is her last name. Knetsov. Alex is what some would call the perfect soldier. As a vampire maquette, she has control of the darkness. She's got control. She doesn't give off a pulse. She doesn't give off heat signatures. She doesn't breathe. She can transmit her body through darkness and teleport. She's super fun. Bruce once said that if there was 5 of her, he could change the whole world in a night via assassination. Like, she is that efficient and that strong and that good. I would say my third favorite femme fatale. Fuck. I want to say it's a tie, actually. No, it wouldn't go to one of my characters. I love Aya Bailey.
That was your character.
Yeah, Aya Bailey is one of mine. No, I'm not going to give it to her. I'm going to give it to one of, I would say, Karina.
Hey.
Ebony's vampire who's a partner. But
What?
also,
The very Karina that's in the chat right now?
the very Karina. But also I would tie it with... Oh my god, I can't remember her full name, but it was... You're going to remember, and this sounds so bad for me.
I would.
Maybe you will. I
I
don't know.
didn't play with Karina.
It was in Sin Eater. Sori's Sin Eater. Alexander's daughter.
Chime in, sorry.
I don't know. I forgot her name. But the idea behind her is that she's the daughter of a wrestler who is just tough as nails. And when she descended into the underworld upon her death, she came back with the spirit, with the geist of someone very influential that tells a story that something is wrong in the Sanguine Universe. So her character actually links to a larger one. So yeah, I would say Pixie Blood, Karina, and then, what is it? Cosette Alexander.
Cosette.
Cosette Alexander, I think is her name.
It was Cosette. No,
Okay.
it was.
It was? Okay.
Bouncy Brain Cloud, you chime in right now.
But those 3, I would say, are my favorite femme fatales.
Okay, wait. Bringing it back to the beginning and to this one. Your fictionals, males and females. 3 and 3. Go.
But I did
You
my
didn't do your fictional men.
my fictional, probably.
Not sanguine.
Oh, like real life
Yeah,
ones?
like real, not
Real fictional
bad
ones?
people. Just like fictional people.
I like Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader.
He's not bad. He's misunderstood.
Vader's quite bad.
Okay.
I like Pain from Naruto a lot. Fuck, I'm just gonna double up on Naruto. And I really, really like Orochimaru. I'm just gonna fucking come out and say
You
it.
the snaky guy?
He's the snake guy.
Yeah.
Orochimaru played a huge impact in some of the
Cosette Alexander!
That
Sorry,
was it?
Yes,
Cosette,
you
okay, I got it.
You got it.
Cosette Alexander, son or daughter of Arden Alexander. Oh yeah!
Yeah, she was a fighter.
Yeah,
She was like raised by a fighter.
she was raised by a pro wrestler.
I love it.
Gritty as all shit. Yeah, those 3. I could have said something like Charlotte Sanguine as an easy out.
She's not a man.
Well, she's not a femme fatale because she's an NPC.
Yeah, she could have been.
But yeah, so Orochimaru, Vader, and Pain for my 3 fictional villains
What about your
of
boys?
men. Those are all men.
Yeah, what about your,
Ladies?
your ladies?
Lady villains?
Your lady dudes.
Lady villains are less. They're just in general less.
You only have 3, maybe?
For real life villains. I mean,
You have any real life lady villains?
no.
There's no fictional lady villains you like?
No. Not really. Most of the time, no, I don't. I'm blanking on them, truthfully. Yeah. Wednesday's an anti-hero. Yeah. Yeah, she's not nice, but she's not bad either.
Alright, moving on.
Wait, I'm gonna say one.
Oh, okay. You got one?
Esdeath. Esdeath is a boss female villain. She's from Akame ga Kill, maybe, I think, and she is incredible. She has Pixie Blade like ice powers, but she has kind of this dominatrix thing going on.
Is it an anime we should watch?
It's an anime.
Cool.
It's tight. Yeah.
All right. Well, that will encompass all of those.
Damn. Baby, we've done almost 2 hours.
I know. We're going to keep going because now we have audience. Our favesies. Scarlet Bouncy Karina. It's one name. I'm just kidding. Okay. As a storyteller, what is something that you don't like seeing from your players? Don't be specific about the players.
Don't start name dropping people.
Don't name drop.
Oh, that's a tricky one.
Be
Okay.
big. Dakota?
As a storyteller, what is something I don't like seeing from the players?
And how do you work the story out of that? Like, how do you...
Yeah. I would say the real truth, the only thing I dislike seeing is inaction. Actually, something in reality we talk about as a sanguine group is that there are times when I have to fast forward. An example happened recently, just a small one, that we fast forward a couple of days on a ship. We probably could have taken that time a little more as a cast to interact more with each other and say like, hey, I'm checking in on so-and-so. Hey, I'm asking so-and-so how they're feeling. I think that's the only thing that I would ever say that a player does that I don't like is, there's maybe two things. If a situation is serious and a player is being goofy, that can be really hard. But you can work around it. The harder thing is if you've given the audience, or if you've given the cast time to talk to themselves. Maybe you killed somebody, maybe you starved them, maybe you put them in a really tough situation that if you and your friends are in, you would sit around and you would be like, hey bro, are you fucking okay? Like, are seriously though, are you all right? Like, but then they don't check on each other. That has more to do with players feeling sort of insecure about coming out of their shell, about asking tough questions. Maybe those questions are hard for them to ask as people in real life to their friends. So asking them to do it as a character might be a little harder. Working around it requires real life empathy dots. You gotta, even when we're far away in screen mode, you have to read their body language. You have to be like, okay, he's uncomfortable. And then you listen to what they say. And if what they say is uncomfortable, you can kind of infer, like, okay, they're not feeling this scene. I don't want to force them down a path of uncomfortability. Maybe someone else in the scene will take the reins. If not, insert an NPC. Someone who can maybe, like, if, let's say the scene is you want the players to talk about the trauma they recently went through. And they're not. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're taking the scene to ask each other, like, surface level questions, right? But maybe, like in the case of Captain Toke, you've got an NPC who can be like, "Arr, that was tough. How are you holding up?" It's not
like him, like, trying to bring it out and be like,
it's not a lie.
This is your time for a 10-minute monologue.
Yeah. And if they still choose not to do that, you just gotta recognize maybe they're not into that. Maybe remaining stoic and silent is the characters they're trying to portray. Maybe they'll show each, and that's some of the thing that, like, the Together Throng. They don't talk a lot. They don't check on each other a lot. But you throw one of them overboard, they're all overboard. So it's kind of learning, like, what makes a team special. Are they special because they check on each other, or are they special because they're willing to risk life and limb? Is conversation important? Do you want Wolverine to talk a lot, or do you want him to act when it's time to act? Yeah. So, like, I think it varies.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was good.
I thought that was good. I was pleased with my answer.
Oh, you look like it. Okay.
I'm a little tired, though.
You're getting a little tired.
I'm a little tired, if I'm being honest.
All right. I'm going to say for the 5 viewers out there, I'll give you guys one more shot to put in one last question, and then James will answer those questions. But I have a question of my own. Well, you guys decide what question you want to put in.
Oh, what question?
So, mine. For you, what would you say is your most favorite emotion to interact with? Nope, that's not what I want to ask it. Yes, that is how I want to ask it. As far as triumph, tragedy, and transformation, would you prefer your games to end what makes you feel happiest and most fulfilled at the end of the game?
Oh, it's going to make me sound bad. I'm going to say tragedy makes me feel the best at the end of a game. Because...
You want them to be like...
So upon writing Midnight Bites, I went back and I started rereading hordes of Goosebumps. Like Night of the Living Dummy, The Haunted
Abominable
Mask.
Snowman of Pasadena?
Yeah, all of them. And one of the things I really took away from it is like ending a chapter on suspense is really good. And our games are called chapters. In the context of WoD, it's a larger chronicle instead of a campaign, and a game is considered a chapter. They regain willpower every chapter, and yada yada. So ending a game on triumph, it does feel good, but it's rare, right? I want
That's
that.
like more of like a D&D thing.
Yeah,
yeah, we won.
I want it to feel, like the weight of the chronicle is upon you. And so, for me, one of my favorite endings is either tragedy, like you don't know what's going to happen, shock, awe, surprise. The last game cliffhanger was the tidal wave of corpses, the pulse of the dead that you could feel underneath the boat. Nobody knows what it's going to mean, but they know that the game is going to start in turmoil because it ended in turmoil. And so I think that those are some of my favorite ones. Happiness is not my choice. I can make the situation. I think I've ended games and where I thought like everything's perfect, they're perfectly fine, they've got food, they've got water, they've got shelter, but nobody was happy. So like happiness is not my choice, but I can inflict tragedy and turmoil and things like that. Triumph, I want to be earned, really earned. Like you overcome.
Like it should take a couple games to get there.
Yeah, like freedom for the changelings, or getting back to purgatory from Arcadius. Like triumph should feel big.
All right, let's see. Tragedy sticks to you longer. You got that right.
No.
Yeah, ending with suspense warms the blood and drums excitement's in the opinion. Okay, last question, since you guys just gave me comments.
It's perfect. You did a 2-hour segment.
I love that. Would you be willing to run a game for kids? Many of us have kids who can play now. Do you think that can tamper darkness with hope?
Yes.
Or do you think that you can tamper darkness with hope?
I absolutely can.
Kind of like the Midnight Bites, right?
Yeah. So World of Darkness pumped out a book called Innocence. It's a supplement for Hunter. The idea is what happens when kids get sucked into the world of darkness. What happens when kids...
Like you see your parents get eaten by a werewolf.
You see the mailbox eat someone. Like something's wrong, but nobody... like maybe it's something that only kids could see. There's a ghost or a hide-and-go-seek creature, or... someone got froze in freeze tag and just vanished. It's something that nobody's taking seriously, but kids can. So the real trick is monitoring me as a person, monitoring each other as a person. Parents, you have the practice of not cursing around your children. I do not. I will.
It's just Dakota who gets really scared.
Probably what I would do is I would put a bunch of sticky notes around my computer
that you can't use.
That would just say like, "Do not curse, be PG." But can it be done? Yes, it absolutely can be done. Kids have less health points, but they also have less physical dangers. You would want it to be done.
Their bones are rubber.
You would want it to be done as a one and done, right? Like a one shot. You don't want to suck them into a campaign or a chronicle where they're obligated every week, because what if their first experience was not fun, right?
Yeah, and then keep them up at night.
And keeps them up for no reason. But this, the resolution is also different. It's not murder and stabbing and putting to death something. It might simply be getting back to your parents or escaping a terrible situation. Games,
the gorilla that escaped from the zoo.
Games may often end in cliffhangers. Like you did everything right, you got away, and right at the end, there's a twist ending that insinuates that like the game is over, the kids are safe, but something is still wrong. So I think the horror is there. You just have to tailor it different. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, Goosebumps. These are all just good examples of the type of horror where it's like Camp Jelly Jam. Send the kids to a camp, but all the counselors are alien monsters. The threat is losing yourself, and slowly, it's kind of like a game of octopus where everybody around you becomes a part of the octopus, but you're the last one. It's a different type of horror. Kids are afraid of different things. So it can be done. It absolutely can be done.
Love that. All right. Well, I think that may be the end of our Q&A interview with the storyteller.
Interview with the storyteller.
Thank you so much, you guys, for joining us today. Thank you for Jordan to join us earlier in the night,
In the day.
Jordan was with us the first hour talking about sanguine questions
Thank
and
you,
different
chat.
talks of our stories. Thank you, chat. Thank you,
Chat was a
Bouncy
lot of
Raincloud, Karina Ryans,
Wait.
and Scarlet Warlock.
Also known as the class of
Our
2000
players!
Sanguine
Yes!
Knights.
They are our
Like,
Sanguine Knights.
What?
We love them so much. Well, Sori and I never got to join the Sanguine Knights, but
No.
someday maybe we will.
You will. Probably Pixie Blade will. She's uber
And
powerful.
Cassette, probably.
And Cassette Alexander.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Cassette
No?
will not be allowed to join the Sanguine Knights.
Oh, you're not allowed. I'm so sorry.
Hugefoot, she knows why. Because of who her geist is.
She literally just told me in the chat that she wants to join.
Oh, I
Can
know.
they make it back through the hedge? Hmm?
We'll figure it out.
Join us next time. We do Interview with the Storyteller.
We'll be doing Promethean next Sunday.
Yes,
We're
Promethean
back.
next Sunday at 1 p.m. PST. See you guys there.
If the time changes at all, we'll let you know.
If the time changes, it won't be because of Pacific or Mountain Time.
We love you very much.
Thank
Have
you
a good
guys.
one. Woo!
You should stop streaming now.